I thought love would be the answer. Thought it would soften every scar. I believed if I held you close enough, we wouldn't fall apart. You said time would fix it. Damn it, said we just needed faith. But every night we stay together felt like another break. I kept pouring all my patience in the wounds you wouldn't face. I was trying to save us while you called it space. This was a love that didn't heal, no matter how hard I tried. I gave you all my tenderness, you gave me reasons to cry. I stayed believing in the promise you already through. This was a love that didn't heal, and it broke me in two. Yeah, I learned to hide my hurting so you wouldn't feel the weight. I told myself love meant surviving, not knowing when to escape. You held me when it was convenient, let go when it got real. I was bleeding next to you, and you never felt the feel. I would have stayed through every storm if you had stayed too. But love came in the heart alone, no matter how true. This was the love that didn't heal, it just taught me how to ache. I kept stitching us together while you watched me break. I fought for something dying, you already free. This was a love that didn't heal, but it taught me how to leave. Maybe love isn't meant to fix what only truth can say. Maybe two hearts have to fight, no one learning how to stay. I don't hate you for the ending, I hate how long I tried to heal a love that kept on hurting. No matter how I cried, I wanted us to heal, I really did. This was a love that didn't heal, but it doesn't mean I failed. I loved you with everything, even when it cost me myself. One day I'll love without bleeding, without begging to feel. This was a love that didn't heal. Now I'm learning how to. Some love teaches you how to hold on, some teach when to let go. This was a love that didn't heal, but it showed me what love isn't. I saw the signs, I won't pretend. The silence growing in your eyes, but I kept believing in the us while you were already saying goodbye. I held your words like they were true, every promise, every lie. You let go without a warning, I was still trying to survive. I've been until I almost broke, just to keep you close to me. You slipped right through my open hands like I was nothing you could see. I was still reaching while you were letting go, still calling your name in a house that felt so cold. I was still fighting for love reaching through the wreck. I blame myself for every crack. Thought loving harder was the cure. I stayed when it hurt to breathe. You left to feel something more. You said you needed space to heal, but you took mine when you ran. I gave you everything I had. You couldn't even stay and stand. I would have learned your darkest fears. I would have waded through the pain, but you chose the easy exit and left me screaming in the rain. I was still reaching while you were already gone, still saving you a place in a story you moved on from. I was still believing in words you didn't mean. You were learning how to forget. I was still reaching for we. Maybe love isn't supposed to hurt like this. Maybe I loved you more than you could give. I was building dreams from broken ground. You were already halfway out. I don't hate you, I just ache from loving you alone. It's hard to let go of someone who felt like home. I was still reaching for the version of you that stayed. For I was still reaching with my hands bleeding whole, trying to save what was dying while you were learning to cope. I was still holding on to a future you erased. You were healing by leaving. I was still reaching and breaking out. I was still reaching and breaking. Now I'm learning how to let go of the love I couldn't save. You moved on without looking back. I was still reaching. Too late. I stayed when the lights went out, when your smile stopped reaching your eyes. I stayed when your silence grew loud and every week started to die. I read between all your words, heard goodbye before you said a thing. You were pulling your heart away, I was still holding everything. I told myself love was patience, that staying meant I was strong, but I was the only one trying to keep us going on. I stayed loving you when you stopped choosing me. I held on to hope, you let it quietly leave. You were learning how to forget. I was praying you stayed. You walked away without looking back. I stayed loving you anyway. I softened my needs for your comfort, learned not to ask for too much. I smiled through the hurt in my chest, just to feel a piece of your touch. You said you needed more time, like love was something to delay. But time doesn't heal what's ignored, it just teaches hearts how to wait. scars that remain. You said goodbye with your lips, I stay loving you with my pain. Maybe love isn't meant to beg or make you feel this small. Maybe two hearts will meet halfway, not one giving it all. I don't regret the love I gave, even though it broke me in two. I just wish you would love me enough to stay loving me too. I would've stayed forever if you had stayed too. I stay loving you, but now I'm letting go. Not because I stopped caring, but because I deserve more. I'll take back my heart from the dark, where I kept it for you. You moved on without looking back. I stayed loving you until I couldn't wait. Remember the good, let go of the pain. Learn how to love without losing my name. I stay loving you longer than I should've, but I loved you true. I saw the cracks from the beginning, but I call them growing pains. I kept believing love was patient, and patience would ease the pain. You said you'd try, said you'd do better. Every time I cried, I held on to all your someday, while my heart slowly died. I learned how to forgive too fast, how to silence my doubt. I kept choosing your potential over what you showed me now. I stayed hoping you'd change while I stay the same, still loving you completely through the hurt and the blame. You promised me tomorrow, but live for today. I stayed hoping you'd change, and I paid the price. I bent myself into your comfort so you wouldn't feel the weight. I kept lowering my standards just to keep you close to me. You said love shouldn't feel this hard, like I was asking too much. But love doesn't quit when it's heavy, it learns how to show up. I was loyal to the future, you were loyal to your fear. I stayed through all the warning signs, yeah, disappeared. I stayed hoping you'd change through the silence and the lies. I was fighting for our forever, you were just getting by. I believed in every promise you never meant to keep. I stayed hoping you'd change while you stayed hurting me. Maybe love isn't waiting for someone to become the person they said would be enough. I stayed hoping you'd change, but I'm changing now. I'm learning how to walk away without asking how. I'll carry what was real and leave the rest in the past. I stayed hoping you'd change, but I stayed too long. Some loves don't end in anger, they end in truth. I stayed hoping you'd change. Now I'm choosing me over you, over you. I used to talk like time stood still, and nothing else could break us down. But somewhere between your silence, I started losing you somehow. I felt you slipping through my hands like sand I couldn't make stay. I paid the night for one more chance, but love doesn't always obey. I gave you patience, gave you truth, gave you all I had inside. You gave me reasons not to stay, and still I tried. This is the love I couldn't save. No matter how hard I fought, I held on water faded. You let it turn to loss. I screamed your name in the dark, but you were already gone. Now I'm standing in the ruins of the love I couldn't save alone. I ignore the cracks in every word. I'd say the pain's just a phase. I can't believe love meant pain, and that one day you'd change. I carry your son's tired shoulder while you watch me break apart. I was stitching wounds with hope you would tearing at my heart. I would've stayed through every storm if you had stayed with me, but you chose the easier way out and left me on my knees. This is the love I couldn't say. No matter how much I did, I gave you all my tomorrow. You gave up on us instead. I did to whom it tried jobs. You burned it down in red. No, I'm wanting what we were, the love I couldn't save in you. Maybe love shouldn't feel like war. Maybe it shouldn't pay to stay. Maybe two hearts have to fight. Now one holding all the weight. I don't hate you, I just put from having you alone. Some goodbyes don't come with closure, they just echo. I try to fix what you wouldn't face. I try to stay when you pulled away. This is the love I couldn't say. I never questioned where I stood when it came to loving you. My heart was steady, my hands were open, every feeling honest, every word true. I saw your fear, I felt your distance, still I stayed right where I was. I loved you with a kind of faith you never quite learned to trust, while you were weighing every feeling, wondering if love was right. I was already all in every day, every night. I loved you without doubt, without fear, without defense. I gave you all of my heart, never wondering what it meant. You loved me with hesitation, with one foot out somehow. I loved you without doubt, and that's what hurts me now. I never needed guarantees, just honesty and time, but you kept searching for certainty while I was already mine. I made excuses for your silence, called it space, called it stress, but love shouldn't feel like waiting for someone to love you back. I was choosing you every morning, you were choosing when it felt safe. I was building something lasting, you were afraid of what it'd take. I loved you without doubt, while you lived in between. I gave you all of my truth, you gave me maybe and we'll see. I stood firm in my feelings, you kept looking around. I loved you without doubt, and I paid for it now. Maybe love isn't supposed to hesitate or make you feel this unsure. Maybe loving without doubt is the bravest thing of all. I don't regret a single moment of the love I gave to you. I just wish you met me there with a heart that knew. I never doubted you, I should've doubted the silence. I loved you without doubt, but I'm learning how to choose me. I won't beg for certainty from someone who couldn't see. One day I'll love and be loved back, with no questions, no somehow. I loved you without doubt. Now I'm letting go without doubt. Some love leaves you broken, some teaches you truth. I loved you without doubt, even when you never did too. I loved you in the ordinary, in coffee cups and passing time, in drive-safe texts and midnight calls, in all the ways you never tried. I loved you when the world felt heavy, when you had nothing left to give. I stayed when loving you was lonely, just to watch you live. You said love shouldn't feel like effort, like it was something you outgrew. But I was showing up each morning, still choosing you. I loved you every day, not just when it was easy. I stayed when things got messy, when you stopped seeing me. You loved me in the moments when it didn't ask too much. I loved you every day, even when it hurt this much. I made myself smaller just to keep my place. You said I asked for too much when I asked you to stay. But love isn't something you ration or give away halfway. I was building something real. You were keeping your escape. I was planting roots in us. You were saving face. I loved you every day, through the quiet and the pain. I held on through your distance while you pulled away. You found freedom in leaving. I found scars that remain. You loved me when it was convenient. I loved you every day. Maybe love isn't fireworks. Maybe it's standing in the rain. Maybe it's choosing the same person, even when it hurts to stay. I don't regret a single moment of the love I gave away. I just wish you'd love me enough to love me the same. I never missed a day of choosing you. I loved you every day, but now I'm learning to let go. Not because I stopped caring, but because I deserve more. I'll carry what was beautiful and leave the rest in the past. I loved you every day, even the last. Some loves fade in moments, some never really end. I loved you every day until loving you meant losing myself. Everyone told me to let you go, said I was losing myself. But love doesn't listen to reason when your heart wants someone else. I saw the cracks, felt the distance, felt the truth I tried to deny. But I chose hope over instinct and stayed when I should have said goodbye. I knew it was hurting me, I knew I was breaking down. But loving you felt easier than walking out. I loved you past sin, past reason, past right. I stayed through the damage, through every lonely night. My heart kept believing when my mind knew better too. I loved you past sense, and it cost me you. I ignored every warning sign, called your absence space. I made excuses for your silence just to keep your place. I kept choosing what felt familiar, even when it cut me deep. I was drowning in what we were, while you were already free. I should have trusted the truth inside, but I silenced my doubt. I loved you harder than myself and lost my way out. I loved you past sins, past pride, past hopes too much. Maybe I was chasing a feeling, not your touch. I don't regret loving deeply. I regret losing my voice, choosing you over myself again and again by choice. I knew I was hurting, I just couldn't stop. I loved you past it, but that doesn't make me weak. It means my heart was honest even when it couldn't speak. Now I'm learning how to listen to the truth I once refused. I loved you past this, but now I'm choosing me over you. Some love doesn't make sense till it's gone. I loved you past tense for too long. I felt the distance growing long before you said a word. Your eyes were full of secrets. Your silence was louder than hers. I asked you what was wrong. You said nothing, I'm just tired. But love shouldn't feel like guessing or setting yourself on fire. I could've walked away sooner, saved myself the pain, but I needed honesty more than I needed escape. I stayed for the truth, even when it was killing me. I waited through the silence just to know what you couldn't be. I held on through the confusion, through every half-said proof. I didn't stay because I was weak, I stayed for the truth. I noticed how you stopped trying, how my tears didn't slow you down. You said you needed more time, but time just dragged me underground. I made excuses for your distance, called it fear, called it stress. But every night without answers left a deeper emptiness. I deserve more than maybes, more than love on delay. But I needed the truth from you before I could walk away. I stayed for the truth, through the doubt and the ache. I swallowed every warning just to hear you finally say that you were already gone, that your heart had moved on too. I didn't stay because I love pain, I stayed for the truth. Maybe honesty came too late. Maybe I already knew, but I needed to hear it from you to stop loving you. I don't regret the waiting, I regret the cost of loving someone honestly who was already lost. I needed the truth so I could let go. I stayed for the truth, and it broke me in two, but lies would've hurt me longer than losing you. Now I'm walking away with clarity, even though it hurts to choose. I didn't stay for again. Even though I'm bruised, I stay long enough to hear it. Now I'm done waiting for you. For you. I loved you in the quiet ways, in all the words I never said. And every night I stayed awake, just praying you'd come back to bed. I memorized the shape of you like you were mine to keep. I built my world around your heart. I loved you too deeply. I made excuses for your distance, caught the storms we'd make it through. I was learning how to lose myself, just try not to lose you. I loved you too deeply, more than you could give. I gave you all of me, you barely let me live. I held on through the hurting while you were halfway free. You didn't love me lightly. I loved you too deeply. I stayed when I should've walked away. Thought patience would change your mind. I kept believing love meant pain, and someday you would be kind. You took my heart like it was safe, then treated it like it was weak. I gave you every piece of me. I loved you too deeply. You said my love was overwhelming, like it was something wrong, but you were never meant to stay, and I was holding on. I loved you too deeply while you stayed unsure. I was drowning in maybe, you were already out the door. I fought for every moment, you let it slip right through. You didn't love me wrongly, I just loved you too much, too true. Maybe love isn't supposed to beg or make you feel this small. Maybe it's too hard to meet halfway, not one giving it all. I don't regret loving you, I regret losing me, trying to be enough for someone who couldn't see. I would've stayed forever if you would stay with me. I loved you too deeply, but that doesn't make me weak. It means my heart knows how to feel, even when it breaks completely. One day I'll love without fear, without falling apart. But tonight I'm learning how to heal from loving you too deeply with my whole heart. I'll stop blaming myself someday for the love you couldn't keep. I didn't love you wrong. I just loved you too deeply. came into my life like a quiet promise, like something meant to stay. You held my hand through the hard day and slowly walked away. I felt the change before you spoke, in the way you look at me, like your heart was already somewhere else, and I was just a memory. I kept waiting for the moment you fight for us somehow, but you chose the easy leaving instead of working it out. You didn't stay long enough to see us through the pain. You left when love got heavy, before it could change. I was still trying to heal up, still calling your name. You didn't stay long enough, now I carry the blame. I would've stayed through every storm if you had stayed too. I believed in all the things we said we'd do. You said you needed time alone, said you had to find your way. But love doesn't run from hurting, it learns how to stay. I didn't need perfection, I just needed your fight, but you let go in the darkness and called it right. But I stayed true. I gave you everything I had, even when you withdrew. One day I'll love someone who won't walk away afraid. You didn't stay long enough, but I did. I stayed. Before they get the chance, you didn't stay long enough to see what we had. There was no fight, no final scream, no slammed doors, no shattered scenes, just fewer words and longer nights, and you drifting out of reach. Your laughter didn't sound the same, your eyes stopped looking for mine. You stayed but only in your body, your heart had already resigned. I kept waiting for a moment where you'd but you let the distance speak. And I learned to read the signs. This is a love that left quietly, no warning, no goodbye, just a slow fade into silence right before my eyes. You didn't mean to hurt me, but you still let it be. You didn't walk away loudly, you just stopped choosing me. I noticed you stopped reaching back when I reached for your hand. You said nothing's wrong, I'm just tired, but I felt where you didn't stand. I tried to keep us breathing when the air was running thin. I was fighting for forever, you were already letting it end. You never said you were unhappy, you just stopped letting me in. And somehow that hurt worse than if you'd screamed it. This is a love that left quietly, like it was never there. You packed your heart in small excuses and disappeared. I was still saying we, you were saying me. You didn't break my heart loudly, you just stopped loving me. Maybe love doesn't always shatter, maybe it just goes still. Maybe the hardest goodbyes are the ones you never feel. I would have fought for us harder if I knew we were dying, but you let me believe while you were quietly deciding. I was holding on to echoes, you were already gone. This is a love that left quietly, and I'm left with the sound of all the things you didn't say, spinning me around. I don't hate you for leaving, I hate how you did. You didn't end it loudly, you just slowly vanished. No last kiss, no closing scene, just memories learning how to grieve. Some loves don't leave in flames, they leave in silence. And take everything. You said this time would be different, said you learned from all the pain. I believed you like a promise, I was ready to stay. I watched you hesitate in silence every time I needed more. You kept one foot in our future, one foot out the door. I gave you chances like we were oxygen, hoping you'd finally breathe. But loving you meant waiting to be chosen by maybe. You didn't choose me again when it mattered the most. You let me stand here reaching while you stayed so close. I gave you my forgiveness, you gave me the end. You didn't choose me once more. You didn't choose me again. I lowered every expectation just to keep you near. I told myself love was patience, even when it was fear. You said you were ready, like time was on your side. But I was running out of myself, waiting for you to decide. I deserved a love that didn't pause every time it got real. But I kept holding on to hope and ignoring how I feel. You didn't choose me again, you chose comfort instead. You chose not to fight for us, not to try in the end. I stayed believing your words, you followed your doubt. You didn't choose me again, and that's what broke me down. Maybe love isn't supposed to ask to be picked or to stay. Maybe being chosen once isn't enough anyway. I don't hate you for leaving, I hate how you stayed long enough to let me hope, then walked away. I just wanted to be chosen without asking. You didn't choose me again, but I'm choosing me now. I'm done waiting in the dark for you to figure it out. I loved you without conditions, you loved me when you could. You didn't choose me again, but I will. Some loves end quietly, some teach you your worth. You didn't choose me again, so I chose myself first. I gave you something fragile, something I couldn't replace. I trusted you with my feelings, put my love in your hands. I showed you every weakness, every crack in my soul. You said you'd be careful with me, but you never held me whole. I can't believe in love and patience, that someday you'd understand. But love shouldn't feel like falling without a hand. You didn't hold my heart, you let it slip and break. You watched me bleed in silence and still walked away. I loved you with intention, you loved me when it was easy. You didn't through the hurting, so I wouldn't scare you off. I learned to hide my tears, pretend I wasn't lost. You said I was too sensitive, like caring was my flaw. But hearts are made of stone, they're meant to be held with care, with care. I would've stayed through every storm if you had stayed with me. But you let go when it got heavy and cold. In honesty, you didn't hold my heart when it was breaking down. You turned away from my pain, like you didn't hear the sound. I was begging without words, still choosing you. You didn't hold my heart the way I held on to you. Maybe love isn't meant to hurt like this. Maybe it's meant to feel safe. Maybe two hands should carry the weight, not one trying to save. I don't hate you for leaving, I hate how you stayed long enough to teach me love, then let it decay. I didn't need perfection, I just needed care. You didn't hold my heart, but I held yours with mine. I protected all your scars while you ignored mine. One day I loved without fear, without begging to be seen. You didn't hold my heart, but I won't lose it in me. I learned to be gentle with myself in ways you never were. I gave you my whole heart, you didn't hold it, but I survived the fall. We never raised our voices, never threw the blame around, but every word we swallowed was another breaking sound. I smiled so you wouldn't worry, you smiled so I wouldn't see how lonely we were together, how far apart we'd be. I kept my pain behind my eyes so you could sleep at night. But love shouldn't feel like bleeding without a fight. This was a love that hurt in silence, no screaming, no goodbye, just tears that fell in private and questions left behind. I was breaking quietly, trying not to lose you. You never heard my heart collapse. This was a love that hurt in silence. I learned your moves like weather, knew when storms were on the way. I held my breath through every change so you wouldn't feel the pain. You said I'm fine, don't overthink, like truth was something small. But love shouldn't feel like walking through a house about to but quiet pain cuts deeper when it lives inside your heart. I was fading next to you while you were standing still. This was the love that hurt in silence, and it still does, it always will. Maybe we were too careful, too afraid to be unkind, so we let ourselves unravel without drawing a line. I don't blame you for the ending, I blame how long we stayed, letting something beautiful slowly decay. I was hurting right beside you, and you never knew this was a love that hurt in silence. But I'm finding my voice now, I'm learning how to say goodbye. Even if it's loud, I'll carry what was real and release what wasn't true. This was a love that hurt in silence, and now I'm choosing me over you. Some pain doesn't leave bruises, some love doesn't survive. It just teaches hearts how to